It's time to talk about the Black and White remakes again. So I've talked about the remakes a lot on the channel. I've also talked a lot about Black and White 3 or Legends Kyurem. I still bring it up every now and then, but it has been a while since I've really discussed it. And there are some rumors around going right now that Black and White remakes are going to be faithful remakes, which if you don't know what that means, it's basically what Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl were, where the game overall is remade. You know, the game has been recreated to be a modern game, so the styling, the graphics, and all that, those were modern, but the entire story was just like a copy and paste. The storyline was really nothing special, and what people want from remakes is for them to kind of step out of the box and add things to the games, right? Add things to the original games that actually improve it. Heart Gold and Soul Silver were done so well to the point where people think those are better than the original. Same with Generation 3. The Gen 3 remakes were so good because they added things to the games that made it unique and made it worth buying the remake or the same game again, essentially. And you always have the original to play, you know what I mean? The original game is not going anywhere. You could always go back and play it. And remakes are fun. Remakes are special, and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl were not received well. People just really hated on them. I still thought it was fun, you know what I mean? Because it's still Diamond and Pearl, which are fun games. Generation 4 is a fun and good generation, but the remakes kind of lacked in the areas where we should have gotten new things or new material to play. So that's what people want from these Black and White remake. Right before we get to the rest of the video, guys, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Turn on the post notifications as well so you don't miss a video. My goal is to reach 17,000 subscribers by the end of the month. With your support, I know we can do it. I also want to say thank you guys so much for 15K. I can't believe we hit 15,000 subscribers. I hit it a couple days ago, but I'm actually a couple videos ahead of schedule right now. So at the time of me recording this right now, I just hit it. I just want to say thank you guys so much. All of your support goes a really long way. Back to the video. So if you guys remember, last year we really thought we were going to get a Generation 5 game announced for the Pokemon Presents or Pokemon Day early February last year, but we got Legends ZA, which I'm hyped about. I think is great. I can't wait to go back to Gen 6. Gen 6 is so fun, but I think everybody was convinced that we were going to get something related to the Unova region. The Pokemon Company, Game Freak, even Nintendo, I feel like they teased at Generation 5 kind of a lot, which was interesting. I think it's also for the anniversary of Black and White or something like that, but they really teased these games a lot, so I was honestly convinced. I really thought we were going to get a Generation 5 game. I mean, I didn't think we were necessarily going to get the Black and White remakes just because at that point in time, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl weren't that old. I thought we were going to get a Legends game. I really thought we were going to get the Legends Kyurem announcement, and then they dropped the Legends ZA, but like I said, I'm hyped about ZA, and I think that was a good choice because it's been so long since we've been back. I don't even think we've ever been back to Generation 6, which is why they probably went with Gen 6 over Gen 2, because there are so many people online right now mad or upset about how they didn't go back to Gen 2, which we're getting a Gen 2 game eventually. Don't worry, guys. That is definitely coming within the next couple of years, and I actually just made a whole video about my theory as to when we're going to get a Gen 2 game, so if you want to check it out, it's a couple videos ago. You'll recognize it if you see the thumbnail and title. But now people are starting to talk about Black and White again. I mean, obviously people are still talking about Legends ZA. I mean, there are just so many different games and topics that people are even talking about right now. The main things I see in my comments personally are Generation 2 related or ZA related, and then Generation 5 related. Gen 2 is highly requested. It's crazy. So with all that hype around Gen 2, I think we're getting one soon. A Gen 2 game, that is. But Black and White is personally my favorite Pokemon game. It's the most nostalgic for me personally, and I'm actually playing through Black and White 2 for the first time right now. I haven't really made much progress since the last time I brought it up. I think I'm about 4 hours into the game. I just beat the second gym. I'm a little past the second gym now, and I think it's great. I think the graphics just look so good in the regular pixel style, I guess you could call it, of the Pokemon games. Anyways, so I can't find the actual tweet. I've looked over Twitter and I can't find it, but basically there's somebody that is a leaker. His name's Eclipse_TT or something like that. He is a leaker, I guess, and he's gotten some things wrong, some things right. He's not the most reliable, I guess you could say, leaker out there, but he referred or made a tweet basically saying, how'd you guys feel about Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl? And then most people said no, they didn't like it or something. And then he replied to that tweet and said oh, you're gonna be disappointed about Gen 5 or something like that, or Black and White, or something like that. I can't remember specifically. Like I said, I can't find the tweet for some reason. This is pretty interesting because it is a possibility that they're going to do a faithful remake. Black and White, in my opinion, should not be a faithful remake. Even though I really enjoy the games, I think Black and White in Generation 5 is awesome. But if we're getting a remake, I would love to see the addition to the game, you know, bring us more to that game. Like, I don't really know specifically what they would add to the game. I'm not a game developer myself, so it's, you know, like, I don't really know. I guess the first thing that comes to my mind, and I'm sure a lot of you guys think the same thing, is like, oh, bring back Mega Evolution, but I feel like they won't do that almost because they brought the Mega Evolution into Generation 3, so I don't know if they would bring it into a Gen 5 remake. I feel like they'd probably bring something else. It is interesting to like see why they didn't add anything to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl were made by Ilka, like they partnered with Ilka or something like that, where Ilka's another company that just kind of has made a couple of Pokemon games, and a lot of people don't like Ilka because of that, and I think they signed like a multi-game contract where I'm pretty sure they're going to be making the next remakes. So there's a high chance that Ilka or ILCA, whatever, is going to make the Black and White remakes. But there's also the new company Pokemon Works, which I don't think they've actually like done anything with that company yet. They're definitely like doing stuff behind the scenes, but like publicly, I don't know what they've done. So the Pokemon Works was created to help produce Pokemon games and kind of just everything relating Pokemon, and it's a joint venture between the Pokemon Company and Ilka. So it seems like Ilka's here to stay. I mean, this is nothing new. We've known about this for a long time now. Just giving you guys a little breakdown if you don't know what Pokemon Works is or Ilka. So it looks like Ilka's here to stay, and obviously the Pokemon Company and Ilka, they have seen the reviews for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and they don't want that to happen again, obviously. So even though Ilka is probably going to be the ones making the Black and White remakes, I just don't see it being a faithful remake, and I don't think it should, obviously. I just don't see them doing the same mistake they did with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Even the chibi art style, I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, me personally, I don't even mind the chibi art style. I actually kind of enjoyed the art style of the game. I just wish that we had more to the game. Who knows, maybe they could do a cool idea where they kind of do like a pixel game, you know, like the OG Pokemon games, but somehow make it modern. Like, I don't know how they would really do that. Specifically, like I said, I'm no game developer myself, so I don't really know these things, but I think that'd be cool. I just don't see them making the same mistake, and especially since they created Pokemon Works, like Pokemon Works is a company basically to help prevent stuff like this, it makes me think that they're actually going to do something good with the Black and White remakes. The Black and White remakes are probably going to be here in a couple of years. I don't think this year, I don't think next year. I'd say probably 2027 is probably the earliest we'd see these games. Could even be a little later, could be 2028. Who knows? Could be 2029. They could really just delay these games as long as they actually want to, because why not? And the whole community has kind of agreed and said that, like, hey, we would prefer if you guys hold off on making games if they're not going to come out as good and as polished. Just give us the games when they're good and when they're all polished over and there's no bugs, no glitches, good storyline. They have a good test run with a bunch of people playing the games to test them out and see what people think about like the storyline and the graphics and the gameplay and all that. But we're definitely going to get the Black and White remakes because it's next up in the line for remakes. So it's like, yeah, we're obviously going to get Black and White remakes. We're going to get Generation 6 remakes. We're going to get Gen 7 remakes. Obviously, Gen 6 and 7 remakes are very, very far down the line, like years and years and years for those. Like, that's not even a discussion point right now. They probably haven't even begun thinking about those remakes because it's probably not going to be on the Switch 2. The Switch 2 will probably only receive Black and White remakes, and the Switch 3 or whatever the next console after the Switch 2 is probably going to get the Gen 6 remakes. But if you're real on watching this far in the video, comment down below Apple, just the word Apple. Also, let me know your thoughts. Do you think we should get a faithful remake? Do you want to see Black and White remakes want to see them add something really cool and unique to the games? Or do you just not even want to see the remakes? Or do you want to just see like a Legends game? Because I personally do want to see a Legends Generation 5 game. But the only thing that's making me think they're not going to do that is the fact that we're getting the Black and White remakes like as the next remakes. So they probably wouldn't give us a Legends game. If anything, we're probably going to get a Gen 2 Legends game next, if, you know, that's at least my theory. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.